Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's album review is about Skinny Puppy's Bites. It was interesting which one to. Actually, album's from 1985. It's kind of Skinny Puppy's second album. There's different versions of it. I wasn't sure which one to rank. There's actually kind of three different uh, editions of it. There's the first edition, which is the vinyl up here, with 9 tracks, and then they sort of came out with the cassette that had like 13 tracks. Here's my original cassette. This was the first one I bought it for. I think I got this in 1987 or 1988 when I was first getting into Skinny Puppy. And then, I got this a little bit later, and this has, Center Bullet on it, Falling, and adds Dead Doll as well, Dead Doll and Love as well. So this one I think had 17 tracks. So there was really kind of three different versions of it with extra stuff, and I think the most important, I think the most honest to review has to be the original one. Because that was the one that was presented the first. So unfortunately, I couldn't, feel like I wanted to rate these kind of just doing the overall first edition bites, and that's an original copy up there. Um, So yeah, I mean, my love for Skinny Puppy is wide and vast, and you can see as I'm also wearing my Dig It shirt today. I love this band. It's interesting, kind of doing reviews on songs that album that I really like or an artist that I really like, and really kind of sitting down and trying to take my personal love for things, taking a little bit less lightly, and trying to put in some maybe a little bit more of a, trying to take out a little bit of my, I wouldn't say favoritism, but trying to, kind of combine that with the artistry and what was going on around it, and compared to the other stuff in their catalog, and the combination of songs and directions and everything production wise, and just the entire release artwork and everything, kind of taking that all into effect with the magnitude of the release, and then also kind of taking a little bit of myself out of my favoritism for certain songs, and looking at them maybe with a little bit more scrutiny, because I'm trying to also compare it to what they've done in their career, but you know also give it more of a, if I was looking from outside, not, a little bit, just to make sure I'm not overly choosing something just because it's maybe one of my more favorite songs. This might be a good example on here on a few songs, and just on the album overall, and in the rating of that. This is kind of the first eye opening where it was kind of like I consider this album, and even more so, Skinny Puppy is one of my favorite bands, and then. Not like Depeche Mode or The Cure wasn't. I mean, I actually like Depeche Mode and The Cure probably even more so than Skinny Puppy. The Cure for sure. Depeche Mode, it's really close. And I've done New Order album last week, the other day and yesterday, and I did a Pet Shop Boys. So I'm trying to do like one. I did Susie and the Banshees. I'm trying to do one album review of one from all the bands that I like in the '80s first off, and then go into a little bit in depth, more in depth with other releases. And I'm kind of choosing them at random which one I do, not necessarily what I think might be the favorite, but I'm choosing anyone from least to kind of high. I'm saving one that I think might be the best for each artist, or maybe the top two, in general. But that's not for everyone, because I did Peep Show, and that's probably one of my top two Susan the Banshees albums, top three at least. So I'm not doing that fully, but just trying to, sometimes it was just like yesterday. I was like, okay, was listening to that New Order Republic recently, so I chose that one. Same thing with the one I just did on Nine Inch Nails with Pretty Hate Machine. I just happened to be listening to that this week. But what was the last thing I was going to say was that, yeah, I'm trying to take my personal experience with it out a little bit, and not kind of have a favoritism on songs. And there's a couple examples on here that I think I think it's fair, and I think overall, like as I'm doing these reviews, like I do feel that I'm a little harsh. Maybe rating things a little bit lower than I should be. But it's that's me being critical. You know, looking back, and hopefully I appreciate people. I mean, I appreciate when I hear people that do reaction channels and stuff like that are more honest and more well rounded and talk about I wouldn't say criticism, just the opportunities and maybe do things different and more maybe it is a bad track or but not liking everything. Oh, I like everything. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, subscribe and put it here, and you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I'm just here for the money. Like, I'm not here for any of that. I'm just here for. Hopefully, you guys enjoy like in depth, historical, somebody with experience that was around for some of these albums and has kind of a combination of a DJ background and sort of an engineering background and a collecting background that kind of wants to do reviews and I'm not necessarily ever going to put like a song of Skinny Puppies up here and react to it. I'm not trying to do that kind of reaction video. I will do that with some electronic music coming out, but I'm not going to be doing that with like Depeche Mode or let me react to a song that I've heard a thousand times. I'm not really interested in that, and I don't want to get paid for reaction stuff like that. For doing those kind of reactions of stuff I already know. I listen to a lot of music, so it's rare that I come that you're gonna you for me not to have heard something. You're probably gonna have to like very regional show me something. Case in point, I was telling my friend Martin from Netherlands on the we were talking through chat yesterday. My friend Martin, it was a couple days actually, and we were talking about me possibly putting out one of his albums on my label and hoping to reissue just to have him on my label and possibly something new of his too on my sub label and we just got kind of carried away and we talked for like 2 hours and kind of caught up. We hadn't caught up since our both of our fathers passed away and we hadn't talked on the phone in like a decade. So it was nice to catch up and kind of go over all the things that we've been doing and then also kind of seeing how we can help each other and I was excited to hear that he was open to me releasing some of the stuff, so I inquired about that with the labels and also going to put out some of his new stuff. I really am excited about it. He did a cover version of what's the Joy Division song, "Love Will Tear Us Apart," and I'm not a huge "Love Will Tear Us Apart" uh, a fan, although I think it's a classic still. It's just kind of played too many times. I wouldn't say I'm sick of it, but it's a great song. But it just again, it's kind of one of those things like how would I rate a song like Love? See, I would give Love Will Tear Us Apart definitely a huge for what it is and what it stands for and what it is in their career and what it inspiring stuff. All that goes into me rating the song just on an individual basis of me liking it. But that's an example of a song that I would rate a lot higher than I would like it as a song. I would probably rate that 3.5 stars as a song, but considering what it is, probably a 4.5. I'd probably give it an extra star just for the importance of it and the songwriting. I don't just there's certain things that I give a little bit more. Like Love Song by The Cure is a good example. Like to not give Love Song at least a 4 stars would be a disservice. It would be me ignoring the catchiness of it, the how well constructed and concise, and just a great alternative pop song. And me giving it less than anything of excellent would either mean I would have a gripe against it or I don't understand the track and I don't understand it. So since I don't write music, I kind of give it a little bit extra because it is such a perfect song in some ways. You know what I mean? There's nothing, you can't listen to a love song and be like, critique anything about it. I mean, what can you critique about Love Song? But does that mean it's a perfect song? No, but does that mean it's not an excellent song? You know what I mean? So, but it's not if I rated my top 20 Cure songs, Love Song probably wouldn't be in there. But I have a lot of 4-star songs by the Cure, but it might be the most perfect Cure song to a lot of people. Even Robert Smith said, "Oh, okay, that's probably one of the best songs I've ever written, maybe the best." Still, to me, I have more favorites. I have more moody favorites. I have more rocking favorites. I have different styles that the Cure do, and so that's what's interesting about comparing a lot of songs and rankings and stuff. And that's what I'm ideally doing with the albums and the songs. Is that's what I'm going to get to. Is eventually on my own time, probably not necessarily on YouTube or anything like that. Although I might put some playlists and then rank them, or maybe at some point I'll do a best of and rate them based on the ratings that I do. I do like doing that stuff, but I'll probably do that, off the record, and I'll probably never be done with that because there's only so much time I'll be here on planet Earth, and have the time to to spend a half an hour talking about an album that I love. Excuse me, excuse me, some water. But excuse me. Hope I'm not coming down with a cold. The weathers are changing, and as you know, it's fall's coming, and having my window out, open a lot during the night, and hopefully I'm not catching a cold. But I just fall is my favorite time with this, sports coming around, and even though I'm not a huge football fan, I love the fall sports coming, and um, and just the weather changing, kind of getting away from hot weather. Of course, I love Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then you look forward to Christmas and then a New Year. So, looking forward to this New Year. I'm having on a side note, just with my father passing away this year, it's gonna be a tough Christmas, and so, but yeah, um, so that'll be a little tough, but I still want to, of course, look forward to it for just being with the rest of my family and my mom especially. So, to get emotional there, but yeah, but yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing these rankings and stuff because I like to kind of reflect on the music that I've heard through my life, and what better way to do that than revisit them and share them with other people. So hopefully you guys are getting something out of this, if not just listening to somebody talk about out music that they like. I know sometimes my videos go along, and hopefully I'm not boring. I know I don't have all the bells and whistles of a normal channel with the great audio, and I do have a mic. I need to get a US. I mean, I have some microphones. I should like get a maybe I should look for an X because I have professional microphones. Maybe I should look for an XLR to quarter inch, and because I do have a mic stand here. Maybe I'll try that. I'll look for an XLR. I wonder if they make XLR to which was this? It's a little smaller than an 8 inch. Is it an 8 inch jack? It's not a yeah 8 inch jack. I'll have to look for that, and then I would have a microphone right here, which would be nice. Um, so I do have some better sounding microphones than this. It's not like I want to use this, but then I would have to use headphones, I guess, right? Because well, maybe I don't, because I don't necessarily have to hear myself. But anyways, so back, see, long, sorry to ramble. But anyways, let's get to the, excuse me, let's get to reviewing the album. So Bites. I don't actually have a lot to say about this album. There's some things about Skinny Puppy that the overall good and some of the opportunities could be carried out throughout the album. So I don't want to get bored and mention that with every song. So I'm trying not to do that with certain. I'm not going to say. Not gonna say Vivek Org sings this song with a lot of power, and the way he sings it is cool. He does that probably for every song. There's some songs where I don't like the way Vivek's processing on his voice is, maybe the tone of his voice and stuff like that. But that's very rare. But and that's probably more so on his org stuff than ogre stuff on non skinny puppy stuff. But it does rear its head on some songs, but that's mostly newer songs. Um, Bites, for example, like it's all of his lyrics or the way he sings, everything is good. So I'm not gonna say certain things when every song is like that. So that might make this review actually the song review is kind of shorter than normal. But so it starts off with Assimilate. Again, there's only 9 tracks on here. Assimilate. is kind of classic. I mean, it's obviously a classic. Bass line is driving. I really like the cool effects. The ooh ooh ooh. You know, like the sounds like sort of like dogs are barking and a mix of like different sound effects, and the melody is always really good. I really like the lyrics. I do feel like after the long instrumental and then it comes back for another verse and chorus that it can be a little long, 6.5 minutes, but the long music interlude is really strong, and it starts at like 4:40, the musical interlude, and then the lyrics still kind of come back, and then the chorus ends out. So it's just kind of a long track, but that's the only minor concern I have. Um, but that's the cool thing about Skinny Puppy is they do what they want on their albums, especially in the early days, and they could easily do an 8 minute track and easily do a 2 minute track, and that's and Bites is a great example of that. Um, but it's just, assimilates a staple for the band concert wise. I mean, that it's always in the usually in the encores. Everybody, it's probably universally considered probably their best song. Um, I'm not sure if it fits in my top 10 of their songs. Like personally, I like different songs, but it's probably up in the top 20 for sure. I recognize it as one of their best. That's for sure. I'm probably that's going to come into evolved in the rating, and that's you'll see in a second. I have it 4.25 stars. So it's better than excellent. It's verging. I mean, anything over probably four. I mean, 4.25 especially because something can be excellent and maybe not a classic. But once it's like 4.25 or 4.5, like that's when I really kind of take note of it. Of like, okay, that's a classic for the band. That's an all-time classic. Because 4 stars is, I take a lot of, again, like I was saying in the last video, I take a lot of, wouldn't say responsibility, but I take a lot into account of when it hits each level. Does it, like when it's 2.75, okay, is it very good to get 3 stars? Is something 3.5 stars? Is it excellent to get the 4 stars? I really kind of decide on that and then kind of fall in between the quarter stars to be more exact on where I feel like it is. And when something's over a 4 that I feel confident for and hits a 4.25, then it's really saying something. So when something's 4.25 or strong, it's better than excellent. It's important for the band's career. It's a staple of the band's concert. Most fans consider it probably their best early song. It's probably along with what's the song from their first album? Blanking on the name, but their first big hit. Oh god, that's gonna bother me. Anyways, uh, God, I can't think today. I've had so much other stuff on my mind this week, but I can't think of the popular song that they also do on course. It's the from Remission. Can't imagine why I'm blanking on it, but anyways, uh, along with that song, along with Assimilate, is probably the two most played concert songs, in all their concert history. I mean, just classic songs of the band. Well, yeah, 4.25 star. I mean, I have nothing to complain about it. It might be a little long, but there's nothing really I have to say about having more of a good song, right? It's just it is kind of a long song, so it does take some 6.5, 7 minutes to listen to it. Okay, track number 2, Deadlines. This is one of my most favorite beats of this album and of Skinny Puppy's earlier career. The rhythm's really cool. The instruments, all the instrumental parts are really good. The lyrics are okay. I really like the melody. I think it's very underrated. It's kind of a cult following. I think they started to play it. Like they didn't play it for many years. I don't think they played it during. They might have played it during Two Dark Park career, but I never heard it on Last Rites tour. I didn't hear it. I don't think I heard it on their comeback tour. I don't think I heard it on Mythmaker tour. I don't think I heard it on the next tour. I don't think it really. They played it until like the Insolvent tour in 2010. And I think it got a great reaction from the fans, and I think that was the way those kind of saying like Yeah, it's an underrated song. Like, there's a lot of fans that really appreciate that song, and it is one of the better songs on this album. I feel like it's kind of my third highest rating on this album, and I think Deadline's really strong. I really like the chorus is average. You know, I feel like it's kind of a letdown because the instrumental and the verses are so good. I feel like it loses a little steam with the last chorus. Maybe it goes on a little too long. I think it's like close to 5 and 3/4 minutes. I think that's a little long, but I love the instrumental of it. I love the verses. Um, yeah, I just love the music of it. I got 3.25 stars, so it's above very good. Then you got Blood on the Wall. Unfortunately, it's probably the my least favorite song of the album. I do like the. It's got a cool beat. I really like the early. It really shows the early production of the instrumentals and of the music. Kevin Key does a great job, kind of tying the experimental. And this is a perfect example, kind of tying the experimental side to them in the early days to some cool kind of. I wouldn't say hip hop beats, but some urban beats, some cool beats, some danceable beats, right? But you know, I just kind of just keep saying "blow on the wall," and there's really no lyrics, and you know, it kind of fizzles out. And I can't remember if it's like 3.5 or 4 minutes long, but it easily could be 2 minutes, and it would probably be a little bit better. It just doesn't really go anywhere. But I do like the rawness of the production. It's has this like timeless feel as this entire album does. But I got it 1.5 stars. I got a little bit better than I got it as okay. Icebreaker. This song was actually on Remission. It was one of my favorite songs early on in their career. When I was getting into Skinny Puppy was just right around their '87 album, Cleanse, Fold, and Manipulate. I went back and got all their cassettes when I first heard Cleanse, Fold, and Manipulate. I went back and got Bites on cassette. I went back and got Remission on cassette. I went back and got Cleanse, Fold, and Manipulate on cassette. And so I was caught up once Viva Sex 6 came out, and then, you know, and then we kind of ran with them for the next 4 or 5 years through Rabies and Two Dark Park and Last Rites, to becoming one of my favorite bands. And, what was I saying? Um, Icebreaker was one of my favorite songs off of Remission. It was one of my favorite early songs. I really liked the eeriness and the kind of cool. It's one of my favorite vocals because it sounds like from a movie. The atmosphere is really cool. I really like the clanging of the icebreaker and that sound, and they turn it into a beat. I think it's kind of ritual in a way. Or sorry, I'm not. I was reading a wrong one. That's about film. Um, I like the remission version a little bit better. There's a part in the first like 30 seconds where remission version goes a little higher on the melody. And I didn't notice. I'll have to compare the two if there was anything else. I feel like there's really nothing else that changes. I'm not exactly sure, but I do feel like the version on Remission was a little bit more raw, and I do like that version a little bit better. But I did notice one difference that I like on that version better. But overall, I think it's a very good song. I got it 3 stars flat. Then you have Film. It's kind of an instrumental. It's nice in an instrumental, atmospheric. I would say it goes on a little bit long. I think it's pushing like 3 minutes and fairly does the same thing through most of it. It does kind of sound ritual in a way. If you guys know what ritual means, like if you ever listen to like ritual music, it's kind of how would I describe ritual music? It's I don't know. It's kind of like Dead Can Dance. If you guys know Dead Can Dance is kind of ritual, but not ritual ambient like this is. Ritual can kind of be like darker ambient, kind of mixed with drone, kind of a little tribal. You know, maybe it sort of sounds like you're doing a ritual. I wouldn't say it's like demonic, but I think it's like it's kind of has a cultural aspect to it. You know, like I don't know if it's kind of I don't know if you've heard of Wicked Messenger, but or Voices of I, or I was playing the other one the other day. It was Hybrids. They do kind of like a as I think it would be kind of like a lost like a lost tribe, lost culture. Like if there was like if there was music, like I'll put you in a scenario because I love spotting music from movies. That was one of my favorite things I used to do out of recording school was put music to movies. In fact, I always had this idea that if the DVDs had an option where you could strip the music from it like in a regular player and put your own music, and I think that would be so much fun. So that way the ordinary consumer could put their own soundtrack to certain movies. I always thought that would be a cool idea and something that you could do right on the DVD and kind of have a little screen and a little time thing and put in the song certain places and edit it and stuff and just do a little kind of final cut editing on your, or really not even final cut editing, but like what do you call it, um, avid editing into the video and just kind of play some audio effects or redo the sound effects or redo the music. I always thought that would be a cool idea you could do on a consumer DVD. Anyways, if I put you in a scenario of like Alien versus Predator, right? Have you ever seen that movie? And they're in that kind of, they're discovering this pyramid, right? And they don't know what it is, and they're kind of finding out. Like, and somebody's walking around, and if there was music in the back, and it was kind of like eerie and kind of Aztecian, kind of pyramid-like, and kind of lost culture, lost tribe, kind of mystical, like that's kind of how film would, or not even film. That's what tribal music, or sorry, ritual music would be like. Some of it can get a lot darker. Some of it can be warmer, but generally more of it is more wouldn't say archaic or it's trying to sound colder, but it's going to sound more timeless, and that way it might be a little bit more stark in the production and stuff like that. But yeah, film kind of has a ritual music kind of feel in it. I give it 2.5 stars. It's good. It's right in the middle of good. I can't say it's very good. It's just it doesn't do too much. Choke. What can you say about this track? It's just amazing, powerful, great lead synth sound. The chorus is so cool. It's almost scary. It's got the groove and the beat is just so great. Like it has such a great groove and funk and the beat and the double hit on the beats and the just the such a sick groove. I mean that instrumental is just that's one of the coolest industrial grooves of all time is Choke. I just it just blows me away every time. It's not predictive, it's odd, it's what I mean. It's just it's so analog and so gritty and so powerful and so groovy and like funky and it's just hip hop and urban. It's just such got such a great beat on it. It's just it blows my mind. It's over. And the testament to this track is that Choke not always was an all time favorite. I always thought it was a pretty good track, but over the years it's just grown and grown to become one of my favorite songs live, and I'm glad that they did it. It sort of became a staple by the end. It was sort of a staple, but not really. And then in 2000, when they were doing a lot of touring, but the last couple of tours, I mean, just a fixture of the show. Um, and it has a lot of cool effects in it, and the way he sings it is so cool, especially the choruses. I got it 4.25 stars. So here's a good point that I was making earlier about combining the two and kind of relating the two. So I have it the same as Assimilate. I like Choke better than Assimilate, but I have them equally ranked, and that's because I respect Assimilate as for what it is. I think it's equal to Choke, taking out my opinion. And this is Assimilate would still be a 4 star song. I'm saying Choke is a four. They're both 4.25 songs. Could I give Choke 4.5 stars? I could probably do that, and my opinion would be better. But I just have it the same because I respect Assimilate a lot, and I do really like it, of course. And it's just I like Choke a little bit better because of the groove and the way he sings it a little bit better. Where Assimilate's kind of more like a chant, like like it's almost like a theme song for Skinny Puppy. Where I feel like Choke is a little bit more original. Um, I have them equally, but I would, if I had to rank them the same or I had to compare them, I would say Choke is my favorite. But I think ranking them, I feel okay with giving them the same ranking. I could do Choke a little bit better, but um, I think it's so close. It's so close. But amazing track. What can you say? Social Deception, very cool beat. The sounds, I think it's ahead of its time in some ways. It sounds like it could be on like a later album. It kind of reminds me of song off Viva Sex Six, Hearthstone White. It kind of has a sound in there that sounds like Hearthstone White, even though it's not like a slower song. It just has the sound that sounds like it's in that. So it kind of reminds me of that for some reason. It runs a little short on ideas. I have it really close to very good though. It's one of the better. It's one of my like if I had to rank some of the other songs from like Church or Love or Tomorrow, some of the other 2 minute songs, I think this is one of the better ones. So I can see why they put it on the album. But I don't have it very good. I have it right under there at 2 and 3/4 songs. Two and 3/4 stars. And then the eighth song, Basement. Good atmosphere, not bad, but I can't say it's good. It's just right under good. I got it at 1 and 3/4 stars. It's it's kind of right under okay. It's I mean right under good. It's I can't say it's I can't say anything. It's got good atmosphere, but it's not bad as a song. It's a little bit better than okay. I just have it close because I really like the atmosphere to good at least. Then you have Last Call, which I don't think is a great way to end the album. Although Last Call makes sense, last song, last call, but I think it has a cool beat. The bass line is cool. I like the instrumental. Not one of their better choruses. I have it 2.5 stars. I have it right in between good and very good, though. I think it is memorable. I think it goes on a little long. I might have this ranked a little high. I feel like it's good, but I don't feel like it's. Yeah, I'm gonna put that a little bit lower. I'll, I'll put it at 2.25 stars for now. I don't think it can go lower than two. It's just I feel it's good, but I don't feel it's nearing to very good. And I'm not gonna say it's halfway to very good because I'm leaning on it's good. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of the album. It kind of runs out of steam, right? When you look at the album as an overall view, I have two 4 star songs. I have two 3 star songs. So that's 4 songs that are above very good and five that are below very good. Right. So I take that into account when I'm trying to give the overall score. Three of the songs are 2 stars, and there's two that are under 2 stars. So that's concerning. Trying to give this a good score, considering I do have a lot of memories of this album, and there's a couple all-time classics on here. And I really like Icebreaker and Deadlines. 4 really good songs on here. 5 interludes, extended interludes. Blood on the Wall is not that great. You know, um, not that great at all actually. It's my lowest song. So yeah, so it's challenging. 2 songs under 2 stars. That's gonna hurt it. Um, this in a way, this almost feels like an extended EP. Like, man, I wish this album had Center Bullet on it. If you guys know Center Bullet, I mean that's a great instrumental. That'd have been take off Last Call and put on that, and at least that improves the atmosphere and ends it on a higher note. Maybe some odd choices on the songs here. At the end here, Basement. What does Basement do for the album? I think Christianity, one of the other songs, was better than that. I think maybe even Dead Doll was better than that. When I think of the extra songs, of course, Center Bullet is better than all of them. I think that one's groundbreaking for the instrumental for the time. Kevin Key did an amazing job. If you guys know Center Bullet, that track is phenomenal. But yeah, so the the score of all those stars is 25.75 divided by 9. It's under 3 stars for it's at roughly 2.8 for overall average of the score of the songs on the album. So when I think about the good of the album, it is kind of Skinny Puppy's coming out party as far as their album. I think Remission was feels a little rough. Kind of feels like one of their. Although this is very close to that album as far as the length of it. I think Remission had 8 songs. This one has 9, so it is kind of along the same lines. But I do feel like this, as far as like Assimilate and the Choke, like this is their kind of coming out party. Is it features a few classic songs. Nivek's powerful singing is amazing. I'll say that on the overall view. I really like the raw electronics. Some good beats for 1985. It's got a lot of eeriness in here. Um, Kevin's production is timeless, and I think it will always be cool. I think, especially his '80s stuff. I mean, all the way through Last Rites, all that stuff will always be timeless. I mean, Kevin is a is a I don't know, a natural at processing and engineering and probably fixing equipment and getting tones and knowing what works. I mean, the dude is like a legend. As far as processing sound and audio and doing a collage and coming up with cool sounds. I mean, the dude, and of course the David Ogilvy, aka Rave, has something to say about that. And of course, Dwayne Gotel and even back here William Schroeder from Frontline Assemblies in here, all that. But Kevin Key is definitely the leader of the band, and I do feel like Skinny Puppy could have done more with Dwayne Gotel kind of balancing them out towards the 90s and helping them out versus it being just Kevin doing the music mostly and producing from Rave and stuff like that. But I do feel like Ken Highwatt obviously was important and all that, but I feel like William would have been able to balance out Kevin and give him something to be inspired by and to do greater things together with. And I think Kevin realizes that because he always seems to really miss him as a person and miss him, I'm sure, in deeper ways, but also missing him to work together because they work so well together. I mean, I really think I can't imagine how Skinny Puppy would have lasted if it was just Kevin Key and Ogre. They probably wouldn't have lasted as long without a third member in there, and then also the production team as well. They probably would have butted heads too early and probably not even had as long a career as they did. But anyways, back to the album. Um, that the album gives a little, and that because of the production and Kevin's work on that, I did give it a little bit of bonus compared to where the score of the songs are because of the atmosphere and the timelessness of the song and the sounds and the artwork and the creepiness of the album and the great appeal, and of course memories are entitled to that too. When I think about the bad of the album or the concerning, maybe not enough songs. I mean, when you think about it, there's only four real songs on this album: Assimilate, Deadlines, Icebreaker, and Choke. Film is a film score. Social Disruption is Cool B, Basement. Last Call is sort of a song, but it doesn't really go much. You know what I mean? It's got 4 songs on here, so yeah, it's missing a couple songs, and I don't think it needs this extra music to. I think the extra music helps add more to the volume of it, but I think it doesn't necessarily ruin the conciseness of it or the album feel at all when you listen to this. I first heard the cassette version had 13 tracks on it, not the one with 17 or the one with 9. But so I was already thinking it was kind of the sum of the parts. All of it kind of added up to be better than the sum of the parts. But when you break it down to 9 tracks, then you really start to see some holes and maybe lacking on not quality, but lacking on content. You know, um, although more puppy is always better, right? It's always and I'm not scoring this lower because I think any different way the cohesiveness. I'd say maybe a Center Bullet was on it. Like it would be, I would rate a little bit higher, but I'm not rating it with all the small songs, all the 2 minute, 3 minute songs. I'm not letting that necessarily. I mean, they add to the atmosphere of it, but they don't necessarily take anything away from just because there's less good, less excellent songs or less very good songs. So I'm not taking that to necessarily into fact. It was 51 minutes, 13 songs. So probably with nine, it's probably pushing, I don't know, maybe 41 minutes. So, it's nice and concise album, but it's just some of the shorter tracks are just kind of it's missing a little bit of content. It probably could use a song or two and take out one of the two. Um, it'd be better to have like five or six versus only four, you know. But I don't think that affects the overall score. Considering the tracks add up on an average less than very good. I took that into account, but I still feel like the production, the two powerhouse songs on here, Icebreaker and Deadlines are cult favorites, I think. Um, and I think the atmosphere is there on the other songs to kind of make it, although it kind of feels like a longer EP as nine songs, versus the original 13, how I first heard it. Of course, I heard it, you know, I've kind of heard, because there's three different versions. I feel like I've kind of know it each way, and I tend to, of course, pick the longer one, especially because I have, I play the CD a lot in my car, and I don't play the vinyl a lot necessarily of this album. I wouldn't say I don't play the cassette a lot either. It's just, although I used to a lot more, and than the vinyl. So I feel like I'm more in tune with the longer songs, but and then so when I was rating it, I was like, wow, could this be under very good? This be in the 60s? And I was like, no, I can't have that. I mean, it's just because not like the other ones add anything to the value, but what these songs mean and their production and what I mean. Like I feel like it has to be in the 70s. So I give it a 73 out of 100. It's a it's very good for sure. I wouldn't say it's in the middle of very good, like on its way towards excellent, but it's not necessarily on the very low side of very good. So it's right about to be in the middle. So I feel pretty good about that score. But again, like what's interesting is if you would if you would ask me what are my favorite top four uh, Skinny Puppy albums, I would probably say Too Dark Part, Viva Sex Six, um, Bites, and Cleanse, Fold, and Manipulate. Bikers, yeah, Skinny Puppy, yeah, yeah. I always get all these bikers around here. They just hang out in front of the grocery store here and smoke and look at their bikes. But they're all cool dudes. But they're all some pretty tough uh, biker guys. There's a biker bar up the street from me. Apparently that place is you don't want to go to that place if you're not one of the local peoples. I'll say that much. Um, but yeah. So yeah, I feel like this is a really strong album. 73 out of 100. I do feel like it could be a little bit better. It's a few songs away from being an all-time classic. I think as far as like getting into the excellent side, but considering what it is, there's only four songs on here, and then five interludes in a way, or five songs and four interludes. Last Call is like almost 6 minutes, so I guess that's a song, but it doesn't really do anything. Um, I think this album is rated probably higher than a normal album with four songs and some interludes. So I do feel like this is on the stronger side of an album that I would compare this to something else on the similar 41-minute songs, only nine songs. 41 minutes, only nine songs. But yeah, that's my review on Skinny Puppy's Bites. Curious what you would score this, and what's your favorite song on this? What's better, Assimilator or The Choke? I'd like to take a poll on that one. All right, thanks so much for listening. Take care.